Hi everyone, I'm Leticia Gillett, and this is my class on how to design head blockouts directly in 3D. I've been working in the industry for many years now and had the opportunity to be a part of studios such as Blizzard, DreamWorks, Netflix, and Disney. I also love teaching, so let's talk about the class. In this first series of videos, we're going to talk about important stuff like design language, contrast, silhouette, iteration, and how to create a simple story for your character. We'll also talk about how to support that story with design decisions, and hopefully have tons and tons of fun while doing that. So, let's break the fear of 3D concepting together, and remember, be brave, be kind, and dream big.
So, hi, we're live. I was just checking the chat and I saw that there's many Revo students here. Hi, Le.
Hi, everyone. I'm Leticia. Nice to meet you all.
So, let me introduce the other guys that are here with us. Besides Leticia, we are here with Rafa Souza.
Can you hear me well? Hi, everybody.
And with Gus Ribeiro.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi, everyone. So, we're here to talk about 3D, and I'll let you say some things, Leticia.
All right. Hi, everyone. So we're here today. We scheduled this live. So basically we can talk a little bit about design directly in 3D. That's a very different subject. Like a lot of times we take classes and people teach us to take a concept, a 2D concept, and try to translate in 3D as well as you can, right? But we all know as 3D artists, we are artists. And I think there is room for us to grow as designers as well, directly in 3D. And that's why I've decided to start doing this class. One important thing, Rafael here and Gustavo, they were the ones who encouraged me to create this class. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have this class. And obviously, if it wasn't for Gabi, she helped me with so many things. I cannot even say it, how many things she helped me to establish this class. We also had Juliana, and she helped me make the mini book for you all, and I hope you guys like it.
You'll love it.
It's so cute, like super, super cute.
Yeah, we try to make as cute as possible.
Even cuter than you can imagine.
Even cuter, exactly. But you know, it's sort of like as 3D artists again, like I think it's time for us to break the fear of designing our own stuff. And designing doesn't mean that you have to only design on paper. You can design in your head, you can design in 3D, you can design on paper, whatever it is that you like. But in my case, I'm trying to create ways that I can design as fast as I can directly in 3D. And that's what the class is all about. Also in this live, just to make sure everyone knows, this live is only in English, okay? The Portuguese live is going to be right after this one at 6 p.m. Brazilian time.
Yeah.
Right? So if you are here and you're like, what the hell's going on? That's what's going on.
Why they're speaking English?
If you understand what I'm saying, you're in the right place. All right?
Yeah.
Also, this is going to be very informal. So make sure to ask questions on the chat if you want. Okay? And if there's no questions, we're going to just keep talking about design. One important thing to know is that Rafael, he's an amazing sculptor. Not just sculptor, but complete artist. Is ridiculous. He draws amazing, sculpts amazing, paints amazing.
Oh, you're making me so blush. Stop.
And he's just amazing. So. And Gu, he's one of my favorite look dev artists of all times. And also a character artist. He sculpts. He says he doesn't like it or doesn't do it much, but he's amazing as well. So any questions you guys have, we can all answer and talk about it. One important thing is that I work more in stylized. Rafael, he does, like I said, he does it all, but he has classes with more realistic tone to it. But which is awesome because we can show both sides of the coin here, whatever question you guys have. Okay. So
I want to say just one thing before
Okay.
they start to ask question is that the course is on if you want to buy it
Oh, right.
already. I'll put the link here in the chat. And we have a promo code, which is called Joy, because Leticia developed a character just for her course because she can do that, right?
Joy is my little helper. It's a little ball of clay. I think you guys will like it. She helps me throughout the videos and on the mini book as well. So the promo code is Joy, and you guys can. I think Gabi, you already put the Gumroad thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's on Gumroad. Okay.
Where is it? Is it in the chat?
It's in the
It's
chat.
in the chat. It's pinned in the chat.
And
Oh, yeah.
it's in the description as
Yeah, I
well.
found it. Yeah.
Description as well. I'm just gonna say just one more thing about the class, and then we can start talking 3D. But it's a series of 9 videos and 1 mini book, all about head blockouts. So designing on the minimal amount, which would be just thinking about silhouette and contrast of shapes. Okay. So we're not going to detail eyes and mouth and nose, nothing like that. We're going to just create blockouts like 5 minutes, go to the next blockout, 5 minutes, go to the next one. And you can get tons and tons of shapes, interesting shapes, just thinking about silhouette and contrast. That's about it. And that on itself, it's a design class because all those things that we talk about in those very small elements, we can propagate throughout everything else. So I don't need to make any other class, really. You know what I mean?
but we will.
But I will. Right?
I will, yeah.
Cool. The book is on the table.
The book is on the table.
This is definitely a Brazilian.
Oi, Rafa.
Lela, Leticia.
Mm.
One of the greatest things I've seen on your course is that you separate some concepts, like some foundations, like silhouette, contrast, any other design elements. And then you start to create exercise, and then they can actually try by themselves each different design elements at a time. That's one of the greatest things I've seen. And the joy idea, by the way, it was a kind of, genius idea. I love that.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah. I think to compliment Rafa, like this course is so incredible because you might think like design. All of you that are watching this live might think of design as something really complex and something that you have to put your brain a lot and have a bunch of skills. But Leticia is able to treat this as such a simple way that you guys, when you buy the course, you will not gonna believe. Like, I think that in one day you will already be able to start doing stuff and to start practicing with the concepts that Leticia is sharing. And this is really amazing because this allows us as 3D artists to be more creative and not being jailed by the boundaries of creating, of just copying the art of another artist. This allows us.
That's important. Yeah.
This allows us.
Yeah.
I think that 2 main things: being able to translate more efficient other art, because now you understand design. Now you start to understand decisions that the artist that the artists are doing, and also be able to improve those designs in 3D and being able to do by yourself your
Right.
designs. And in a really simple way, I think that like when you think about the majority of courses, you think like, oh, I need to replicate this that this guy is doing in the exact same way. Like if you watch Leticia course, the point about the course is doing a lot, like is exploring about design, and the whole course has this mentality.
Right.
Yeah. I know the course is good because I don't do any 3D, but I understand everything she was saying. So I know because of that. Guys, if you want to ask questions, please leave them here in the chat so I can read them to any of
Yeah,
the three
any
artists if you want
questions
to ask
put on the
questions.
chat already.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say that's very important that Gustavo already said really is that we, again, as 3D artists, we don't develop too much this freedom of trying to just create our own stuff in 3D. You know, we get too constrained by copying a photo, copying a concept, etc. And when you take the class or when you study design, independent if you take the class or not, you will be able to create your own designs. And like Gustavo said, which is even more important sometimes if you go into the industry, it's that you can know what to look for in the 2D design that someone else did and apply to your 3D model, and it's going to be even closer and more loyal to the essence of the design of the 2D artist, you know.
Yeah. Amal Khan, I hope I'm saying your name right. Ask something that is related to what you're saying.
Yes,
It
exactly.
was here. Let me put it on. Yeah. Some say you should not do your own designs as a 3D artist because it will never be as good as someone who just does concepting. Can you give your thoughts on this?
Yes, if you don't exercise design, yes, your own 3D design is not going to be as good. But if you do exercise it, you might get to the same level of a 2D artist. The only difference there is that the 2D artists are exercising that all the time, and the 3D artists, us, we are exercising copying as much as possible, right? Those ideas that the 2D artist made. But if we start exercising the same thing as the 2D artist, which is what the class is about, then you practice, 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 and then you get on the same level, but in 3D. That's my thought. What do you guys think?
Exactly. I think we should try, kind of blur the line between 2D and 3D.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's
Because
blur
after
it.
all,
Let's blur it.
they let's blur it because they are obviously the same thing. The
Yeah.
difference between them is exactly what Leticia has said. If you are a 2D artist and you buy some books about it, or you go, take class about it, you see they try to approach everything with more creativity. But when you start to study 3D, you see just people teaching you how to copy something. But if you, again, start to try to create your own design, study foundations of the elements of design, as Gustavo said, not only copy work from someone, but try to understand the foundations behind those work, those style that you love most.
Yeah.
Commonly, you see young students saying, I would like to get to know myself. Okay, I got it. But what does that mean to get to know yourself? And they will probably say, to find my style, to find my voice. And then, so the answer is obviously you can, just do a search, go online, take, a lot of piece of arts that you love, put everything in a shelf, find some of them that you love most, put everything inside a cauldron, mix them together, and then you end up with something. something that will, doesn't matter what it is, but will call mine. And I disagree with that. That's the question. But I disagree.
Creating chaos on the way.
Yeah.
Just to add on what Rafa and Le said, I think that it's good to point out that when you are translating a 2D image, at some point you are doing an amount of design,
Yes.
because depending on the concept artist, like you are translating just lines in a
Yeah.
3D concept. So you are already doing this, you are already practicing this. But one thing that I think that like to maybe some 2D artists will not enjoy to hear this, but when we are doing designs in 3D and when we are creating everything with 3D, we cannot hide anything behind a line. Everything has to be decided. There is no gap to not having a decision, because when you design in 3D, you are doing the final piece. Like
Yeah.
you will stick to this.
Yeah.
And in some points, like in a production environment, like designing in 3D is quite good, because the client and everyone can see the character from every angle, not just an angle. Like
Yeah.
you can have a different view for the design, and you can read this in a different way. Of course, it's harder to do design in 3D, but in some way, I think that, as
It's
Rafa said,
productive as well.
is productive, and the lines are become blurrier, because like for a director it's best to see a 3D design, because he can go into a VR and turn the model. You can't do this with 2D.
2D.
Like you have to draw this again. I think that's it. We need to to blur the line, because every medium has his space.
Yeah.
So
Has
2D,
its benefits. Yeah.
yeah, 2D is a lot about speed. I need to do something fast. But 3D give us the ability of visualize things in a different way, and has a bunch of benefits as well.
Yeah. And the difference 2D and 3D is 1D, right? And that 1D.
Just one D.
3D times 2D, 1D.
No.
It's not
What I
that
wanna
far.
say-
You can buy that one D in a store
In Leticia's
in
course.
front of your house.
No, what I want to say is that 1D, which is depth, right? It's everything, because it makes you be able to spin your model. It makes you, and again, 2D, if you concepting 2D, like Gustavo said, like sometimes it's just lines, right? In 3D, we're sculpting with light, right? Depending on your light condition, you're gonna see a model in different ways. You're gonna see the planes of the face in a different way, you know. And also, another important thing is that I worked, for example, on studios that I got literally like a napkin 2D lines, and somehow you gotta make it work. So depending on the level that you are in your career, people are gonna expect more and more that you behave like a designer, not just a copier. And I don't even like to say that a modeler is a copier, because like Gustavo said, it's like we're always adding to the design. Our job is to take the design, try to get as close as possible, and add that 1D that is missing, and fill the gaps, right? Again, because the 2D can take you so far, so you have to fill those gaps, hopefully improving the design, you know. When that doesn't happen, we've seen it before, you see a nice design and then you see the model and you're like, what happened, right? Because the gaps, they were not filled, and then it becomes this weird feeling, like it kind of looks like the concept, but there's something missing. It's like sometimes you lose life when you think like a Xerox machine, you know. So you gotta have that design vibe so you can make decisions to improve, you know. Any other questions, guys? Can put questions.
May I ask you something, Lela?
Of course.
Have you ever seen a 2D artist that it is not creative at all? He just draws Spider-Mans,
Yeah.
Batmans, but he don't do design as well. Have you ever met someone like this?
Yeah. I think there's so many actually, right? There's so many. If you go to like ArtStation, whatever is the tool you like to use to get inspired, you'll see the same exact thing over and over and over, and you see it's just like a little formula, right?
Yes.
And it's easy. Sometimes you can go to YouTube and see how people did one line, and you copy that line, and then how they did another line, you copy that line, and then you got a design. But it's not a design per se, right? But yeah, same thing in 3D, right? We see many people that are not exactly following a concept per se, but they're just making the same thing over and over with the different hair. Or sometimes it's the style though. Like sometimes it's like there's certain styles that requires that, but sometimes it's almost like it fuses the same model with the different clothes and different hair. Which again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's whatever makes you happy, right? At the end, life is short, and if what makes you happy is to draw Spider-Man every day, do it. If you want to grow as an artist, draw other things, right? But if you want to just be happy, which is totally fine too, draw Spider-Man as much as you can.
Yeah. But this is something interesting because I think that's what Rafa said is interesting, because when we think about 2D, we already think that the guys that do 2D are superior because they do design, but like as the 3D, 2D has the fundamentals. And knowing the fundamentals doesn't mean that you know how to design. You
Right.
can be like crazy good with perspective and anatomy, but you don't have any knowledge of design. Design is a other thing that you put
It's another
on
layer,
top
right?
on all the fundamentals.
Yeah. It's another layer. Again, like I said, you can be an amazing modeler. I met amazing modelers. You give them a 2D, and it's like he traced it in 3D. It's perfect. But if you say, can you design something? They're like, oh, I can't do it, right? And it's totally fine, right? But if you study design, you add another layer to your tool bag, let's say, and you can express yourself independent of the industry. What I'm talking about here is following your heart, right? You express yourself, and when we study design, we can break design. We can figure it out. Where can I break it? Where can I? Where it does not work if I break the design, etc. Who said that? Was someone important said something like this, but I can't remember. But anyways, it's like you study, and then you decide in your own taste, in your own language, where do you want to put contrast? Where do you want to emphasize apex? Where do you want to emphasize silhouette? You know what I mean?
Do you know
Yeah.
some artists that does that exactly directly in clay sculpture, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yes.
the same thing, or
Same
clay
thing.
or 3Ds.
Yeah.
Same
Same
thing.
thing. There's Andrea Blasish.
Yeah,
He's one of my
Amazing.
I was
favorite.
trying to remember his name. Yeah.
Yeah, Andrea. He's one of my favorite physical sculpting artists of all times. And that guy, man, is insane. I've seen him work, and he puts the drawing on the wall like this that someone gave to him, and he goes in clay. 40 minutes. 40 minutes. He has the whole block out in clay, like that rough thing, and it's just fantastic. It's just the most beautiful thing, you know. Someone put a question in there.
Yeah,
Leticia?
but before you read it,
Okay,
I
go for it.
forgot a thing. I had to
Thing,
say a
say.
thing in the beginning of the live, and I forgot. Actually, we all forgot. When we were announcing the live last week, we said that somebody here would win a spot in Leticia's course, like for free. So Leticia, explain how that will happen.
This is how it's gonna work, okay? This is very serious.
You have
We're
a
gonna-
knife, a computer, 3 apples.
We have just 2D concept.
Yeah. We had 1D. No. Well, that didn't sound right. Well, we're going to do like this. We're going to continue talking, and I'm going to say a word. I'm going to say many words, but close to the end of the live, I'm gonna ask about what I said during the live, something specific, and the first person that replies in the chat gets the class.
Oh,
Whoa!
That's it.
Right?
I
You gotta
would
listen.
never win this.
I would totally forgot that.
Yeah, me, I would never win my own class. I don't even know.
I don't even remember what I said.
Lucas said that it's like round 6 Squid
Round
Game
6.
challenge. Yes, something
Yep,
like that.
Squid Games going on here. Whoever survives at the end of the live is answered.
So just to explain again, pay attention for in what Leticia is saying.
Mhm.
In the end of the live, she'll ask a question, and the first person who gets it right will get a course for free. Okay,
Yes.
that's it.
And we're gonna do the same thing on the live in Portuguese, but it's not the same question. So
Don't try to
now.
be
it's
smarty
gonna
here.
be translated.
Yes, it will be a word. Yeah.
Yeah.
There
And
is
also
a
for
question from
anyone
João
that
as well.
it's here, for anyone that's here that does not speak Portuguese, okay, just so you all know, we're all Brazilians here. That's why we all have accents. I've been in the US for about 10 years, but obviously I still have some accent. But we're all playing full here, trying to speak a second language. So bear with us.
I don't speak even Portuguese good.
Yeah, I mean, at this time, I don't know what I speak yet, but we'll get there. All right.
Okay, now we can get back to the other question. It was by Eric Gil Coelho. Hello, guys. Do you recommend books to read together the classes to improve my design vision? So, any books to go along with the classes?
One artist that I love, it's an ebook. You can download on Gumroad as well. Not mine, his. It's Mitch Louis. Okay.
Can you spell that? I can.
It's Mitch Louis. I think that's how you write his name. But I put in the chat, and I love him. He's a 2D artist, also stylized artist. He does cartoon stuff, and I just love his stuff. He's very inspiring to me, and you can see that he puts his heart and passion to the materials he's making. So I love his work. It's a great tool to use to improve, and you can, again, the same way that what I'm teaching 3D, a 2D artist could apply in 2D, goes the opposite way. So Mitch Louis tutorial, it's in 2D, but you can take those ideas and put in 3D. Yep. It's that simple. Okay. Just add 1D.
That would be our slogan.
Yeah.
Rafa, how about you? Any books?
There is one, but I don't think it's gonna be easy to find it. It's from Aitansu. Not sure how can I pronounce that. Fine.
Rafa is the guy of the books.
Yeah.
Like he has all the books.
Yeah.
We could have a live just talking about books with Rafa.
So
bookshelf tour with Rafa Souza. Let's do this.
Yeah, we need it. We need that one.
Yeah. So the book's called Alive: Character Design for Game, Animation, and Film. Yes. Aitansu. I'm gonna drop his name on a chat. Can I do that? Private chat.
Yeah. So
put in a private chat because I'm not sure.
I can copy and paste.
I've been blocked.
Okay.
And the name of the guy is Aitansu. Bro, it's a nice book. But on the other hand, you cannot find it anymore. It's very, very hard to find. It's very hard.
It's awesome, but it doesn't exist.
At least in Brazil, it's very hard.
Yeah, maybe out here
nice
in the
book.
US or around the world.
Yes.
Yazer, I don't know how to say this name, but Yazer asked, Anatomy for Sculptors. That's a great PDF book. I mean, there's a physical book as well. That's a great one as well, you know, like it's not so much for design, but you can use those language to study design. But again, like studying design is a bit more freeing. Like you just gotta allow yourself to experiment, you know, um, play with shapes and stuff. You don't want to get too caught up with like what is anatomically correct and all that stuff. We just want to break stuff, you know what I mean? And find new shapes, basically.
Lela,
Wait.
what do you think about the phrase, if you want to be good as a cartoon artist, you need first study realism? What do you think about that?
Yeah, my thoughts on that is that I do not agree, but I do agree that if you do study anatomy, you're gonna be very good at design. You not that you directly gonna be good at design, but studying anatomy is gonna help you with everything, right? There's no question on that. But we've seen many artists that they don't know what the hell is a zygomatic bone, where is it, nothing, and they can just design beautifully, super free, crazy push designs, because the way they perceive the world is only by observation. They're not trying to create pre-made concepts from books and people, whatever it is. They're just observing the world and translating those shapes that their own eyes can see directly on the design, right? So I do not agree with this phrase literally, but I do agree that if you do study anatomy, it will help you to create more believable, maybe, models, more with, because you taught me this, Rafa. You taught me that there is a balance of how much stylization and how much realism you want to have on things, right? So there is that contrast that you have 30%. Let's say if you have a realistic piece, so you put like 80% of realism, and then you just add a little taste of stylization, 20%, let's say, and then that creates that fantasy or illusion feeling to your piece. Same is the opposite. Let's say I have a very, very, very cartoony model. I added 80% of stylization, and then I just bring 20% of real world realism feeling, anatomical feeling, and then I make things grounded, contrasty, What happens sometimes with some artists, we've seen it before, is that they meet in the middle. They have 50% stylized, 50% realistic, and it feels so wrong. It feels off. And that's because it's missing some contrast there, And you can talk a bit more about that, Rafa, if you want.
No, that was nice. Sometimes young people come to me and say that they're taking anatomy class, something like this, just not because they love, but just because they think they should study realism for 5 years, and then they will be free to finally study what they love, that is cartoon. And I say, no, go straight forward to cartoon.
Yeah.
Go straight.
I agree. And what's funny, Rafa? If you go straight to the cartoon and you start making it, automatically you're going to feel the need to start studying more anatomy slowly. Yeah. You don't need to just study that, right? When you start doing things, it's like, oh, how the leg works, so I can push a bit more. And then you go and study leg anatomy or something. You're going to feel that need. Because again, like if you don't feel that need, all your characters are going to have tubular legs, tube forearms, just because you don't know where to put those apexes, those inflections. So I think naturally it's going to happen, but I don't think it's a must. I don't think you need to study 5 years to be able to do cartoon. And sometimes I'm going to even say, sometimes it might make you feel constrained because you learn all those rules of anatomy, where the muscle is, where the apex, and then you feel constrained because you don't want to break it, But design is about breaking, finding new shapes to describe anatomical shapes, right?
Exactly. Design is about breaking. Yeah.
There is something that there is a book about gestural drawing, is drawing force.
Mm-hmm.
Joining Forces. Yeah.
Drawing Force is a
Drawing
really
I have.
good. It's a really good book about gestural drawing. And in the book, I think that the first thing that he says is about like function and form. Like when you are thinking on cartoon character design, you first need to think about function, because anatomy will be form. It's something that you put on top of function,
Right.
but you
Yes.
cannot think of function before you cannot think of form before function.
Yes.
Right.
So I think that relates to it, because
Yeah.
we really
Exactly.
push the design aspect in cartoon character design. And
Yeah.
then
Exactly.
if you want to put anatomy on top, but the foundation always need to be
Mm-hmm.
function and design, and
Yeah.
then you will put anatomy on top of this.
No, I disagree. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I totally agree.
Chaos,
You
I
chaos.
totally agree with you.
Fight.
Before we go to the next question, I just want to say one thing. We've been talking about design, but there's one important thing much bigger than design, which is story. Okay? When you go create a character, it's not just about curve and straight and silhouette, whatever it is, right? It's about trying to make a person, right? Miyazaki says that it's like we're not trying to make characters, we're trying to make people, that we can relate or that we can hate or whatever it is, So in my class, I talk a lot about that, where we're bringing the design to support the story. You're trying to elevate the story.
Design is a
through
kind
the
of
design.
tool, right?
Exactly. It's a tool to elevate storytelling. Because at the end, we're artists, we're storytellers. Okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes, again, we see some things and it looks super cool. You see like a pose of a character, whatever, and you're like, wow, this is so cool, but it feels very generic in some way. Like you cannot feel very well the story behind that character. It could be very well done, executed.
Yeah.
And then you see something very simple, a few lines, but it tells so much story, right? And you're like, what the you think about it the whole day, right? The whole day.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, how could they tell such a simple way? Sorry. And as a stylized artist, that's what we want to do. We want to find out simple ways to elevate the story of our characters with the design, So just to be clear, we're not just talking about rules of design. We're figuring out what we do with those rules. We elevate our character's story, basically.
Yeah,
That's the end goal.
Design is a tool to communicate story. Like
Yes,
you don't have a design if you don't have a story for what you are doing the design. Who is our character? Is a fragile character that is afraid of the dark. You already have some tips of how this character.
And in the class, I teach you guys how to create a very simple story, like a technique that is very simple to create a character. Because the problem sometimes people are like, oh, I'm going to be creative. I'm just going to sit and sculpt. That's not what we're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're going to sit, we're going to think about our character story, use a little technique. And then with that established, that minimum amount of story established, then we go to the paper or to ZBrush or Blender, whatever it is that you like to use, and tell that story. We're not just going to close our eyes and, Anyways, we can go for questions.
There was a thing, Le gave an inside course that is an intensive course in our school. Like it was a 7-day course. It was amazing. And in that
you said that, and I remember that probably there's artists here that don't know our school.
Right.
You're in your channel now, okay? We have a school in Brazil, a digital art school in Brazil that is very nice. We don't produce any content in English yet, but we'll get there. So pay attention. In the future, we'll be there.
Let me say something. Revolution is the name of the school. In Portuguese, for short, we call Revo. It's a cute way. But Revolution is a school in Brazil, in my opinion, the best school in Brazil. For artists, 2D, 3D, whatever kind of artist you want to be. They teach lighting, they teach drawing, and me and Rafa introduced me to them. Actually, I met Gustavo and Gabi through him, and we always partnership with them because it's just love, when it happens. It's just family, and we make it work because, again, our main goal here is we're very passionate about information, about disseminating information, and so that's why it works so well, this combination with us, because we're all very passionate about teaching. But anyways, continue.
Okay, let's get back to Gus. Gus was saying that
Thanks, Le,
Leticia
for
gave
all this jabba.
all this Java. All this
one
free
thing
propaganda.
About Revolution Scope. One thing
Oh,
about
now,
Revolution
Rafael.
Oh
Scope
my God.
is
More
it
Java.
was made by artists for artists. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
Real
That's the
okay.
main big thing. Yeah, because it's not like business people. It's just the whole body of Revolution. It's artist people. Like Gustavo, he's an artist. Gabi, she's an artist. Like everyone in the team, they're all artists in their own media, right? Be writing or rendering or whatever it is. So, and they also, I'm going to say something very important. They also have beginner's mind. They always work thinking there's more to learn and more to evolve. And that's something also that I talk a lot in my class. Maintain a beginner's mind. When you have that set mindset, you open space in your brain to absorb content. Do not make preconcepts of things because that makes your mind shut down and you do not give room to grow, basically. Yeah.
Yes.
Gustavo, say your piece.
Yeah.
I was just saying about the inside course that we have and about the character that Rafa did in the class. Like you can see when you do something that you can relate to. Like Rafa did a character that was from his beloved football team,
Football
Vasco,
club.
and he did an insane project. Like he knew
was.
everything about the character. He did a video presentation, like with
Was ridiculous.
sound. It was like he humiliated all of us with his
Yeah.
character. But we were able to see how much story was behind that character and how much Rafa was putting in the character, and it was something that we were able to relate to the character really easily because we were able to see all that story that Rafa has put inside the character.
You see
So
his
it's
character
very
and
Blushed
you
again,
laugh
getting
right
blushed.
away.
I'm all blushed.
Do you have
So
any questions, Debbie?
we have another questions. I will read the questions that were made by people that only speak English because very soon we'll have a live that is in Portuguese. So people who asked questions that I know there are students so that speak Portuguese, I will leave your questions for later if we can't answer everything till 6 o'clock. So I will ask you this question made by Ruby Wang. For students going into the industry as a 3D modeler, do you think we should have all self-designed models in our portfolios or half self-designed and half based on concepts by other artists? Thanks.
That's a beautiful question. Me, myself, being an artist from Disney, when we, or Netflix or Dream, whatever studio you work on, you being hired to be a modeler, right? We got to be very clear here. As a modeler, what is your job? It's to translate 2D concepts as good as you can, elevating the concept in 3D. So a company, that's what they want to see. They want to see you on a portfolio, your 2D concept, from an artist. It could be you, it could be anyone else, and the final model, right? That doesn't mean you cannot add your own concept. But if it was me, if I'm making a portfolio, normally I would put the pieces in the beginning. I would put the ones where, let's say I took a concept from Kari Loftus, 2D artist. Then I put the concept And then I put my 3D model, spin around, all pretty. At the end, you can add your own, and you have to describe, you have to say, this is my own model and concept. And you put it there. What's the difference between you copying someone's concept and you putting credit for yourself as your own concept? When you're copying a drawing, you already have predetermined design, obviously. You're just trying to make as well as possible that design. When you put your own thing, you have to design and make the model. So that is good for recruiters to see how developed is your eye, you know, because he can see you not just as a modeler, but he can see you as a modeler and designer. If that's what you want to show, if you feel like your design level, it's not up to your modeling level, do not put in, because you don't want to have to compete, right? Only if you feel confident that your both levels are very similar, you put both on your reel. That's thinking about the industry. If you want to get to DreamWorks, Netflix, whatever it is. If you as an artist, as a passionate artist, you want to do your own concepts and put it on your art station on Instagram, do it. That's your thing. You know what I mean? But being very clear for the industry, you only add to your portfolio if you feel that's going to help your portfolio. It's going to help the recruiter to see that you're a modeler and a designer. If it's going to put you down, do not add it. Okay? Yeah. What do you guys think?
I think that's a general rule for portfolios. Like,
Yeah.
if you think it's gonna help you, include it. If you don't put it.
and even like, so I see some portfolios sometimes that people do one physical sculpture, like in real world, and they do one, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna add to my portfolio because I'm gonna show that I can sculpt in real life." But the sculpture is so much worse than the portfolio. Same thing, like. If you feel like it's not adding value to your reel, do not add it. You know, you got to be very critical about your reel because people will be when they're looking at it, you know? Yeah. I hope that's good.
Gus and Rafa want to add anything to that?
No, I totally disagree with that. No, I'm sorry. I totally agree with that.
Rafa is here just to disagree, right?
I think that one thing that we didn't said, I think that will be nice to talk about this. Well, like as we are heading to the final of this life, final minutes of this life, one thing that like learning with Le and learning with Fafa, they are incredible artists. But one thing about the design, about learning design that I discovered through time, is that it's as much like a psychological thing, like a mind thing, as a actual concrete knowledge, because much people, the majority of the people don't do design because they fear doing design, because they are afraid of doing design. But actually, when we start trying with design, this kind of free us. Also, when we are copying, because we feel more free to do the brush strokes when we are sculpting and do all those
more
stuff.
Confident, right?
Yeah, you feel more confident about the decisions, about being free when you are sculpting. So mind is a really big aspect of designing as well, because you want to approach design in a more free way. Like not everything that you are going to do will be great. You will be dumping a lot of stuff on the garbage, and this process is cool because you understand this. You are searching for something in the process, and usually when you are copying, you already have like the ideal in mind. And this, if you are afraid of the result, this kind of blocks some people to improve their knowledge and to improve in modeling and observation and all those stuff.
Yeah,
you have to have an alchemist mind, something like that. Sometimes things is gonna explode. That's normal. And then you need to keep exploring, and obviously, go and watch a lot of documentaries.
Get inspired, right?
Get inspired. Know about different cultures, colors, things like that.
Yeah.
The advantage of
Always
being
do
beginner-
your research, right? Again,
Yes.
we all have this feeling that's like, oh, I'm going to design, I'm just going to sit and do like this. No, we got to create story. We got to collect reference, do
Yes.
research. Then after
Got it.
you have a lot in your mind, that's when you try to translate that to paper or to 3D, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
One thing that Lit taught me is to study others' designs. Like,
Yeah.
look at the concept and look at the 3D and how the guy did the translation, and look at the small decisions like the body decision, like the features of the face, like how he solved the features of the face.
Yeah.
All those
Yeah.
stuffs are really important in the process.
Yeah, Yazir said, "Yeah, I love it, but I'm terrified of design," and that's a great way to describe it, because if you're terrified, it's a great thing because it means that you're trying to get out of your comfort zone. You're trying to get out, move from the light of comfort, and evolve as a human. You know, so anything that makes you uncomfortable, celebrate that feeling, the uncomfortable feeling, because it means that you're actually learning new things, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
We have a lot of questions, actually. We won't have time to answer all of them. But Armando did a question that it has to do with your course, because I know you will want to answer this one. Can you recommend what we can do to complete our heads after we complete Leticia's blockout course? Any suggestions for finalizing the head, eyes, mouth, appeal, etc.?
Buy the second course.
Buy
By
the
the
next
second
one.
one I'm making right now.
Right now, we are just doing
Keep
it.
practicing. Just keep practicing.
Yeah. Armando,
Learn
I
a
would
lot.
say make blockouts until my next class is released. If you take all this time just making blockouts, you're gonna master designing blockouts. And then when my next class comes out,
Leticia will give her the job that she has at Disney.
But seriously, there are many other classes, but I would say again, like the basic ideas of design that I teach in this class, you can apply to detailing your character. Really, you can apply to everything. They're just universal languages, you know.
Yeah.
But again, we are making a next class to continue this one. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
follow my idea. Study blockouts until then, and you're gonna be
Follow mom. Follow
What?
mom, guys.
follow mom.
Follow mom.
And for those who came later and were not here when we started talking, the link for Leticia's new course is here,
On the
pinned.
top.
Yeah. So if you want to check out, the link is
Description.
here.
And
Yeah.
there is also the promo code.
Yeah, it's Joy.
Yeah.
The
Promo code is Joy, JOY. Okay,
of how much the promo code is?
I don't know.
$5.
$5.
$5 discount. And he will be on for how much time?
Until tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
night.
Yeah, we forgot everything. Until this promo code, guys, is gonna be live until tomorrow night, and then after tomorrow night, it's going back to $25.
$100.
If you wanna say five mula, like we say in English, or 5 pila when we say in Portuguese.
In Brazilian coin is 100 million pilas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
$5.
like $5 a lot.
it's a lot of money. Yeah. Should we ask the question in the chat to see who is
Yes.
gonna win?
Yes.
All
Let's
right.
do this.
I don't know how to phrase this.
Okay,
but
just let us remember for everyone, even those who weren't here when you said what we will do now. Like
Yeah.
Leticia said many things, and now
now I'm gonna ask a question about stuff that I said, and if you answer the word, it's a word that I said, you will get the class for free. Only one person though.
the first one.
The first person in the chat. If you're the second, go get your
I'm sorry.
$5 discount.
May I suggest something in a private chat?
Yeah. Suggest.
Okay, now now we wait.
Someone said, I'm ready to
Just
win.
kidding. Not sure. It's good. You see?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll ask that. Okay, I'm gonna ask very fast. You gotta type fast, huh? What's the difference between 2D and 3D?
Oh my god. Let's see if
It's
they got it.
one thing.
Dun, 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 dun,
I'm
dun.
nervous.
Or two.
What?
1D. Yeah.
Yay!
Yay. Yezer got it right.
Yes, I got it. I love it.
Yezer, you can DM arroba Escola Revolution or Le, and we will give you like 100% discount on the course, so you can buy directly on
Congratulations.
Gumroad.
You won, Yezer.
Yeah, it's 1D.
All right, everyone. I'm sorry to cut it short. Not short, we're cutting in time, but we have
Yeah.
another live now in Portuguese. So if you do speak Portuguese,
I'll
go
leave
to
the
the
link
next
here.
link. Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
put the link on the chat. If you do not speak Portuguese, you must welcome to join. You're not gonna understand anything, but we're gonna be talking stupid
We don't
stuff.
speak Portuguese well.
Yeah,
But-
it's all-
Yeah. English is our main language.
So
Okay.
that's it. Thank you very much.
Yester said, I'm freaking out. I want it so much. Hearts for you, my friend. Hearts for you. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know
Yeah.
if you enjoy it. I'll be very excited to hear your thoughts on it.
Don't forget to subscribe in your channel, please, and give a thumbs up in this live. It
If
helps
you
us
want
a
to see
lot.
more English content on the Revolution
Destroy the
channel,
like button.
just hit like because I don't work there, but they can
Just
start
sometimes.
invite me to do more content.
Okay, so
All right,
that's
everyone.
it. Thank you a
Thanks for
lot for your
joining.
time, guys.
And remember,
Bye,
be
guys.
brave, be
Be
kind,
kind
and dream
and
big.
dream big. Yes.
Bye, everyone.
I will leave
Bye,
with
guys.
a design jutsu.
Bye.
Bye.